In this video, we will talk about truth values and truth tables, and we will look at some examples. Truth values are basically true or false, denoting truth or falsity of a statement. We denote truth value true by T and false by F. In some text, you may find true being denoted by 1 and false being denoted by 0. Truth tables are used to display truth values of statements or combinations of statements. Now let's look at truth tables for not, or, and. These three basic logic operations. If we let P to be any statement, so we want a table with truth values of possible truth values of P and not P. The possible truth values of P are T and F. When P is true, not P must be false. So we have F here. And when P is false, not P must be true. So this is the truth table for the logic operation not. Next, let's look at truth table for or. Let P and Q be any two statements, and we want to find truth values for P or Q. So our truth table will look like this one. We want to look at truth values of P or Q for all the combinations of truth values of P and Q. So one possible combination is both are true. Another one is P is true, Q is false. Another possibility is P is false, Q is true. Another possibility is that both are false. Now, when P is true, Q is true, then P or Q is true. When P is true, Q is false, P or Q would still be true. When P is false, Q is true. P or Q is still true. And when both are false, P or Q is false. So basically P or Q is true as long as at least one of P or Q is true. So here in these three cases, we have at least one of P and Q is true. In such a situation, P or Q is true. P or Q is false only when both are false. So this is the truth table for P or Q. Next, let's look at truth table for logic operation AND. Again, let P and Q to be any two statements. We want to look at the combination P and Q. We want to look at all possible combinations of P and Q. So we again have true, 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 false, false, true, and false, false. So these are all the possible combination of truth values of P and Q. Now when P is true, Q is true, P and Q is true. When P is true, Q is false, P and Q is false, because for P and Q to be true, we need both of them to be true. When P is false, Q is true, P and Q is false. When P is false, Q is false, P and Q is false. So P and Q is true only when both P and Q are true. Only when both are true. Otherwise, P and Q is false. These are the truth tables for these three basic logic operations. Here is another example. We want to construct a truth table for this combination of P and Q. We have not P and Q or P or Q. So we want to look at all possible combinations of truth values of P and Q. So we'll have columns for P and Q. And our calculation will include P and Q, which is what we have here. And then we want to negate that. We have not P and Q. And we also need to calculate P or Q. Now we can finally combine these two to get our final expression. P and Q, or P or Q. Let me draw lines. So we start by writing down all the possible combinations of truth values of P and Q. So they both could be true. P could be true, Q could be false. P could be false, Q could be true. P could be false and Q could be false. Now let's fill out the column for P and Q. When both are true, P and Q is true. When P is true, Q is false. P and Q is false. When P is false, Q is true. P and Q is false. When both are false, P and Q is false. Next, let's fill out the column for not P and Q. That means we are just negating this column. Then we get false, true, true, true. Next, let's fill out the column for P or Q. So we are looking at these two columns. When P is true, Q is true. P or Q is true. When P is true, Q is false. P or Q is true. When P is false, Q is true. P or Q is true. When both are false, P or Q is false. Now, finally, we are ready to get the truth values for the given expression. So for that, we can just look at these two columns and combine them by OR. So we have false or true. That will give us true. We have true or true is true. True or true is true. And next one, true or false is true. So these are the truth values for the given statement. Another example here. In this case, we have a combination of three statements, P, Q, and R. So let's start by putting columns for those three statements, P, Q, and R. Now in this expression, we need not Q, this part here, and then we need to calculate that part, which is not Q or R, and then we can combine that part with P so that we have the statement that is given to us. Now let me draw lines so that we have a table. All right, now we want to look at all the possible combinations of truth values of P, Q, and R. They all can be true. So one combination is true, 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 Another combination is true, true, false. Another combination is true, false, true. Another combination is true, false, false. Another combination can be P is false, Q is true, R is true. Next combination, P is false, Q is true, and R is false. Another one is false, false, true. And the last one, false, false, false. So we covered all the combinations. There are a total of 8. Right, so now we are ready to fill out these columns. Not Q, we are just negating this column to get not Q. So negation of true is false. We have false here, false, true, true, false, false, true, true. Next, we have not Q or R. So basically, we are combining the column for R, which is this one, and Q with logic OR. That should give us this column. So we have T or F, true or false is true. We have false or false, which is false. We have true or true, which is true. False or true is true. True or false is true. False, true or true is true, and false or true is true. Now finally, we are looking at P and not Q or R. So not Q or R is this column, and P is this column. Then we are combining this column and this column together to get that column. First row, we have true and true. True and true is true. Next, we have true and false, which is false. For and combination to be true, we need both of them to be true. The next one, true and true is true. Next one, true and true is true. Next one, false and true is false. False and false is false. False and true is false. And finally, false and true is false. So this is the truth table for this given statement.